Today's guest is literally someone who boosts the confidence of women every day. Lauren Currie is the founder of UpFront, an organisation on a mission to change confidence, visibility, and power for women. Lauren and her team have upskilled and changed the attitude of 10 million women. It's so impressive. Lauren, welcome to 10-Minute Confidence Boost.
Thank you for having me, Alison. I'm really happy to be here.
How are you doing today?
I am good. The sun is shining. It's a Monday morning. Can't ask for more.
Well, you could ask for more. It could be Friday afternoon, but no, okay. Let's go with that positivity. I like it. I'm so fascinated by what you do. Tell us a little bit more about it.
So UpFront is an organisation that exists to change confidence. So we want to upskill 10 million women, and we want to do that because how we are taught to think about confidence, where it comes from, how we cultivate it in ourselves and others, we believe is very broken. And that means that confidence can often become a tool to perpetuate bias and prejudice, and ultimately results in a world that isn't very kind to confident women. And we want to build a world where confident women are celebrated, recognised, rewarded, and appreciated. And we do that through our flagship product, which is called the Bond, BOND. And Bond is the collective noun for a group of women. And it is a 6-week online learning experience where you unlearn all of the things that you have been taught to believe are true about confidence and relearn how to build confidence as a habit and as a practice. And we have upskilled over 11,000 women through our bond programs and changing the world one bond at a time.
So the 10 million is the goal. That's not what
Yes.
you've, right. I'm with you.
Yes.
And okay, without wanting you to be giving away any of the material that you quite rightly charge people to learn, can you give us a little bit of an insight into the kind of thing that we need to unlearn when it comes to confidence?
Of course. And I'm a big believer in giving everything I know away. I mean, we have a podcast, we have a newsletter, I'm on my Instagram like yourself. I want these messages to reach as many women as possible. And I think it's unfortunate that there isn't just like one trick or one mindset shift, because that really is the myth, one of the big myths we need to unlearn, because we
Right.
grow up thinking that there's almost a kind of recipe, or follow these steps, or do this thing every morning, or be this way, and you'll immediately start to feel more confident. And the truth is, there's no such thing as a confidence hack, because it's a practice that ebbs and flows. Like the conversation we had before we went live, it's like some
Yeah.
days you are confident and you feel you can take on the world, and other days you want to stay on the couch all day. And you can have that same situation in your life, right? Maybe you're a really confident parent, but you're not very confident at work. And so I think seeing confidence as a practice, realizing that it's a muscle, it's not something you have or you don't have, or something you're born with. It's something that you build in micro moments. And for women, especially, it's really rooted in this idea of unlearning all of the conditioning that has taught us that confidence is about being extroverted or loud or bragging or showing off. It's unlearning all the invisible and sometimes visible messages we get to stay small, to stay quiet, to stay agreeable. And I think learning confidence is emotional work. Like, it's hard because it's so systemic and it's complex, and all of us want quick fixes for stuff, that's why star signs are so popular. It's like, just tell me one thing
Yes.
that's going to help. I think this work is so much bigger than that. It's about ultimately shifting how we see our own confidence, how we see the confidence of the women around us, and being brave enough to choose confidence in a world that does not like confident women.
Right. Okay. So that's really interesting. So so far, the whole conversation has been about confident women, and you've said that confidence isn't something we're born with.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this a problem that seems to be a female problem? if boys aren't born with confidence, what is happening that allows them the luxury or the privilege to grow up feeling confident? And we're not saying that every boy or every man feels confident all the time, but what's the difference there between boys growing up and girls growing up?
Great question. So I always say that if you want to be reminded of what confidence looks like, go and hang out at a playground or the nursery school gates, because children have all of the confidence that they need. They are brave, they are courageous, they rock up to the slide assuming that they will be welcomed, assuming that they can take a turn. And especially little girls, like lots of your listeners will have daughters, nieces, nephews, small girls in their life who are very good at telling you what they think, who are very good at saying no, who have strong opinions, who want to tell stories. And then slowly, as they grow older, someone or something takes that confidence away. And that is the patriarchal, sexist, bias structures that we live and work and play in, that does not take that confidence away from boys in the same way. Now, that's not to say that boys and men are not also harmed by the patriarchy and they also need support with their confidence. Of course they do, but it's very different and it doesn't affect them in the same way. So girls, when they are as young as 6, start to get messages about their confidence. If I had £1 for every time a woman in the bond has said to me, how do I raise a confident girl but make sure she doesn't become arrogant?
Oh, right.
Now, mothers are not asking that question about boys,
Mm,
because women grow up with arrogance and being a show off being the worst possible thing that you could ever be.
yeah.
And I say, let your girl be a show off. We need to not be scared of confident girls.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, oh my goodness, that really resonates. And how about you personally speaking? I'm guessing that you haven't always felt like a confident person in the same way that we're saying that it's not something that it ebbs and flows, you know. Um, have you ever had a time in your life where you felt really unconfident?
Yes, I mean, I think this is such an important thing to talk about, because as someone who runs a business that teaches confidence, it's really easy to look at me and think, oh, well, she's got it all figured out and this is all really easy for her. And she's extroverted and she's comfortable in front of a camera and she loves being on stage. And uh, excuse my puppy, being noisy. Um, and the truth is that I am on my own journey with confidence and I always will be, because it is something that as you grow, your confidence challenges just grow and change. And you'll see this when you meet very senior, very accomplished women who are maybe in their 60s, in their 70s. They are also having their, they're still on this journey, because it's something that there's no end point. It's like you can't graduate confidence. You can't get a gold star. It's like you can't do confidence on a Tuesday and then you're confident, because a circumstance changes, life throws a curveball. So for me, I have the same ebbs and flows and ups and downs, the same as anybody else. But what I do have is a toolkit and I have strategies, and I have done a lot of work to really understand my confidence and know what I need to do when I need more of it, to recognize when my confidence is dipping and understand why, and to not be scared of any of that. I see a lot of fear, especially from women who have become mums for the first time, or they've had a really bad experience at work or in their personal life, where they feel like their confidence has just been just pulled from beneath them. And they'll say to me, I'll never get it back. I'll never be that person again. And I always want to say, you will get it back. You can get it back. it will always, always, always come back because it's a muscle and you can rebuild it. And that muscle might take a different shape to how it was last time, but you'll always build it and it'll always come back.
So, am I right in thinking then that your top confidence trick is that there are no confidence tricks? It's basically the realization that it's a process and it's not something that you can just hack your way into.
Yes, and I think yes, that's important. And of course, there are habits and small things that you can do to help you along the way. So one of my favorite practices and something that we put a lot of emphasis on in the bond is our relationship with apologizing and saying sorry. So we have one rule in the bond, the only thing that you will ever be called out upon or, reminded that you've broken the rule, because for 6 weeks you are not allowed to say sorry
Ah,
at all.
interesting. Tell me more about that. Why is that such an important rule?
Because unnecessarily apologizing is one of the ways that we diminish our own confidence and we give the world a very strong message that we don't believe in ourselves. And it's often a habit that we have just learned by osmosis, right? Because it's everywhere. It's in our mothers, it's in our grandmothers, it's in our aunties, it's in all the women we see on TV, it's in the women that we grew up listening to and learning from. And it is a consequence of living in a world that has a negativity bias towards women, right? The United Nations recently did a study that showed us 90% of all people have a negativity bias towards women. So that means from a very, very young age, we are taught to question ourselves, to not believe in ourselves, to stay small. And of course, this doesn't mirror every single person's experience, but I'm sure for your listeners, there will be some elements of truth to that. Everybody's story and journey is different. And I think, especially in British culture, there is a culture of over apologizing, starting your sentences with sorry, saying sorry for having an opinion, saying sorry for having an appetite, saying sorry for being hungry, saying sorry for not being hungry, saying sorry for being tired, saying sorry for what you're wearing, saying sorry for the mood you're in. Once you start to notice it, it is an epidemic and it makes people, the women in the bonds, it can be a very, very uncomfortable idea even just to imagine saying sorry less because it's so ingrained. But I always try and pull us back to the idea that sorry is a really, really important word. Like, it's a really beautiful and important thing to apologize when you need to apologize, to admit when you've made a mistake, to say sorry when you're sorry. And by constantly just peppering our vocabulary with sorry all the time, we're taking away its power. It's like, it's a really important word. Use it when it's necessary. Use it when you're sorry. And I've also had lots of bonders say to me they can see their children starting to mimic their over apology. And so, for folks listening in, I would love to challenge you for the next 24 hours, 48 hours, just don't say sorry.
I'm going to do
And
it
a
myself.
really easy trick is to replace it with thank you. Sorry I'm late. Thank you for your patience.
Yes.
Sorry I got really emotional and vented to you about my terrible day. Thank you for listening to me. I really needed that.
Yes. That's,
Sorry I'm
oh,
tired. Thank you for understanding that my kids still wake me up a lot and I'm not
yeah.
at my best today.
It's funny because it's something that I am really aware of, and I've been trying myself to do the whole yeah, the kind of thank you for having patience is something that I try and put in emails rather than saying, oh, I'm so sorry that you've had to chase me, or I'll say thank you for following up, I really appreciate it. And then I had a conversation last week where there was a work situation where I slowly realized that there had been a massive miscommunication between me and this other person, and I realized that they had an expectation that I was going to do something, and I wasn't prepared to do it. And I was chatting to my husband, and I was like, "What should I do about this?" He was like, "Just send a message saying I'm really sorry. You know, it's been a misunderstanding." And I was like, "No, I'm not apologizing because I can see this isn't my fault. This is both
Mhm.
of us talking cross wires,
Yeah.
assuming something different. And I was so proud of myself. I sent a voice note because quite often
Yeah,
it's
voice
easier.
note. Yeah.
It softens. It's not just, written in a text message or an email. And I just said, I can see there's been cross wires. Let's sort this out. And I was like, I'm so glad that, because my instinct really was to be like, oh, I'm really sorry. But it's
Yeah.
like, no.
We made these maybe you can see said sorry when I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
need to jar. Put a pound in it every time you say sorry when you didn't need to. And I
I
think I
love that.
made it made people get some extra pocket money very quickly with that.
That's so funny. I love it. Well, Lauren, I think that is super helpful. Even though you have said that, there isn't really a hack to, to gaining confidence, that feels like a really good starting point. Um, but I have got a final question for you, Lauren, before we wrap up, which is, if your confidence had a theme song and it was playing when you're feeling the most confident, what would yours be?
This is such a fun question, and I thought about it as like what song represents how I think about my own confidence. And it's a song called Everybody Supports Women by Sophia Isela. And it's a song that I think really tells the truth about how women will cheer you on and be so behind you when you're on your confidence journey until your confidence makes them feel uncomfortable. So the line in the song is everybody supports women until a woman's doing better than you. And the first time I heard that song, I had like full body goosebumps because I have felt that and still do feel it in my bones. Like I don't know if you know of the tall poppy syndrome phenomenon. For your listeners who might not know about that, this is a thing that has been studied and understood. There's data to back up the idea that the more competent a woman seems to be, the less likable she is. And I have gotten a tall poppy tattooed on my arm
Have
last summer
you?
because I want to remind myself that I am a tall poppy, that standing tall will always be worth it, and that people will try and cut me down because that's what the world does to tall poppies. The world is not kind to confident women. Internalized misogyny, I think, is the really big piece of the confident conversation that we need to start having more. So, this song, it's also just an amazing song. Like, you must listen to it very loud. And it reminds me of what I'm doing all this for. It's like, because we can build our individual confidence and have the strategies and the tips and the hacks, but if we are still moving through this world hating on each other, being rewarded for tearing each other down, cancelling each other, what's the point?
Yeah.
We just end up in a worse place than where we started. So it's like we need to build a world where confident women are celebrated, and that starts with us and our girlfriends and our mums and our sisters and our neighbours. So that's my song.
Love it. Love it. And then before you go, can you just tell us where we can find you online?
Yes. So I write on LinkedIn and Instagram every day about confidence, leadership, entrepreneurship. You can find me at _ Lauren Currie _ on Instagram, at Lauren Currie on LinkedIn. And Upfront is Upfront Global. Our podcast is called Upfront Moment. And yeah, I would love to hear from you. Let me know of what you've taken away from Alison and I's conversation today.
Love it. Thank you so much for joining me today, Lauren. It has been eye-opening and incredible. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.